Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Just Reasoning Live, the show where we are here to amplify your voice, amplify the voice of the Caribbean community, the Black community, and talk about all things relevant to our community, whether it be news, politics, sports, music, entertainment, culture, what have you. We are here to discuss such things. I am one of your hosts, Chris C-Dub. Joining me tonight also, we have my partner Tex and Jasmine. And we have a few special guests today. As I mentioned, we talk about all sorts of things here on Just Reasoning. And we have representing the lovely Twin Islands of Trinidad and Tobago, we have Miss Karen Yates and we have Miss Pat Francis. Why they specifically are here on the program today is we're going to talk about small business. We know it's a very challenging environment out there right now. Millions of layoffs, millions of, tens of thousands of closed businesses. And they are with an organization called SCORE. So we are going to talk about SCORE, exactly what the organization is, and what they do, and how they can help small businesses. So with that said, ladies, if you can introduce yourselves, and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for having us on. My name is Karen Yates, and I live in Houston now. I've been here for a while, and then I left, and now I'm back. I work for a company. My own company is called the Center for Transformational Leadership, and I have a people development, educational, and training company. So that's what I do, and so that's what I do for to make my own money. But what I do also is I also volunteer for an organization called SCORE in Houston. That's SCORE. SCORE is it's a partner. It's a nonprofit organization that partners with the Small Business Association. It's a government-funded organization, nonprofit. And what we do is we help small businesses in whatever communities we're in to either go from idea to business, or if you currently have a business and you want to maybe change it up, you want to expand, you want to turn it into a franchise, anything you want to do in regards to your small business, they help you go from with mentoring and education. And people like myself and my colleague Patricia, we are experienced subject matter experts in whatever field that we're in, would help those people who would come to SCORE to get education and training to help them facilitate what they want to do with their business.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
That's what we do.
Okay, Ms. Francis, would you like to add to that, or?
Sure. Hi, I'm Pat Francis. I live in Houston. I'm originally from Trinidad. I have been in Houston. I've lived in Houston for the last 42 years or so. So many of the Caribbean community transition through, from having organizations to many different things. So my background is in training and development, organizational training and development. I am currently working on completing my master's degree in technology, and will complete that at the end of December. I mentor for SCORE personally because I myself have a small business while I'm not working it right now. But again, one of the things that I found that's successful in SCORE is helping and mentoring people into becoming successful entrepreneurs. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but how do I become successful? And that's one of the key things that we try to accomplish in SCORE by one of the first things, allowing people, helping them develop their business plan. So that's one of the first major milestones, and that's where some of the challenges come in working with entrepreneurs. Everybody has an idea, but like Karen said, how do you take an idea from theory now to execution? And we guide you and navigate you through those challenging times.
Okay, speaking of challenging times, we are in the midst of some very challenging times. The last number I saw was probably like 45 million unemployed. About 100 plus thousand businesses have closed. So, given that challenging environment, would you say that this is a good time to start a small business? Let's start with that question.
Karen, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it is a good time to start a small business. You know, I grew up with my grandmother saying in Trinidad, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So if you were one of the people who got displaced, lost your job, or your company closed down, or they're kind of doing what a lot of companies, even big companies like ExxonMobil today, is doing a structured type of early retirement. So even if you're with a big company like that, which was pretty solid, you might find yourself in a position where they're asking you to leave. So you have some knowledge, you have some experience, maybe you have some funds, hopefully, and you could say, you know what, I have a passion for making pizzas. Let's just say that, and you want to either purchase a standing organization, a franchise, or a distressed one, or you want to open up your own. I think there's always an opportunity for people to go into business for themselves. But I will say this with one caveat: there's a mindset that you need to have, a mindset of an entrepreneur. And I think that's the key right there. Sometimes we say we want to go into business because, I don't want to work for anybody, I want to be my own boss. But the mindset that's taking you from an employee to an employer, where you are the employer, that has to change. And that's the only thing I would say would be a challenge for somebody. But there's always opportunity to be opening your business.
So
Chris, I would add to this. Let me just add quickly to that. Also, going back to the mindset that Karen said, that is true. But this is a good time. It's always a good time to start. But I think what it is now, so many of us are being forced to think of other things, because oftentimes we rely on corporate America, whatever structure that is. But now we're being pushed against the wall to decide, hey, let me get rid of this fear and step out from that and step out into a new world and bring my idea to life. So it's always a good time to start your business. It's like Karen said, changing your mindset and stepping out from that comfort zone.
Okay, so let's go through a scenario. Let's say, someone, saying, with all this environment, I think I would like to start a daycare center or some sort of business. And they heard about SCORE and they reach out to SCORE for help with that process. Walk me through the process of what happens then.
Okay, so you come to SCORE. One of the challenges I'm finding in what we're seeing is first your mindset. But let's say they are entrepreneur and they come through and they said, I want to start a daycare, for example. So one of the very first thing, you are assigned a mentor. And that mentor you're assigned to will walk you through or navigate you through the process. Now, SCORE is not there to actually write your business plans or do the things for you. You have to the entrepreneur has to do the work themselves. So there's going to be a lot of homework that they'll have to be challenged to do, particularly if they're not familiar with doing a cash flow statement, a business plan, an income statement, a balance sheet. So you have to bring some type of knowledge to how do I start my business, particularly let's going back to a daycare center. That comes with a startup cost. It comes with a wealth of understanding of how do I start a daycare business. So you have to have a basic fundamental knowledge. So the process will be, you come on board, we assign you a mentor, you are assigned a mentor, and that mentor will work with you from the beginning all the way through ribbon cutting day. And again, I said work with you. They're not there, they're there to navigate you through the process. And the first process is writing a business plan. And writing a business plan will entail your mission statement, your value, who you're doing your marketing plan, who are my customers? And that's some of the things that stall entrepreneurs. But what it does also is it helps you to open your mind and really get down to the nitty-gritty of opening a business. Then certainly sometimes what happens we start seeing is people start saying, oh wow, I have an idea, I just didn't know how to formulate it. So now we're here to help you formulate that plan to make it a reality. but you, the entrepreneur, must do the work for yourself. In terms of doing the research, we tell you, okay, let's figure out your marketing plan. Let's see who are your target market, and we start going through the list. There's a checklist that we use to get you to navigate you through the system from the beginning all the way through ribbon cutting. And that includes a marketing plan, financial, your personal state financials. So it's a wealth of information, or it's a whole component of a business plan that you're going to complete.
Okay.
So some make it and some don't.
Okay, so just to take us a little bit back to the actual steps is, so there's two ways you can find score, right? If you go to the Small Business Association, which some people do, the Small Business Association is going to say to you, do you have a business in place? Have you come up with your name, registered, all of that? If you said no, then they refer you to SCORE, because SCORE will help you through that process. Once you get to or you could find SCORE just going online, houstonscore.org, and then you would select a mentor yourself, say, I need help with an HR issue that I have with my company already, or I want to start a business and it says who can help me with business operations. You select a mentor. If you don't do either of that, you fill out a form, you say what you're looking for, then they assign you a mentor. So these are the steps to get into SCORE. You go to our website, you go to the SBA. Some people, we have relationships with a lot of chambers of commerce in Houston, and we will tell people at the chambers of commerce if somebody is looking for information on how to start a business, or if they need any type of mentoring and education, you can send them to SCORE. So people find us that way as well. So there are several ways to get to SCORE. Once you arrive at SCORE and we figure out what you want, then we try to help you through that process.
And it's all for free.
Hey, there we go.
It's all for free.
I was waiting on the punchline there.
Yeah, it's all for free.
I was going to set you up to say, yeah, it's at no cost to the entrepreneur.
At no cost. It's all the mentors are volunteers.
Okay. And you just
awesome.
Answered the question. I was going to ask the question that if you have people who specialize in certain areas of starting a business and a company, because every business has something, a different requirement, but you have staff to which you can address those specific needs.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So when you go on SCORE, and like Karen said, if you know specifically what you want, you can type in some keywords. Let's say you need help in marketing, and it brings up all the mentors, and it's across the nation, because there is Houston SCORE. But if you do that, you can go specifically to Houston, and then what it does is you'll put up marketing plan. It brings up all the mentors, they're subject matter experts who are they're knowledgeable about a marketing plan. If you need help in social media, Karen's name is going to pop up. If you need help in business analysis, every mentor has key areas of being a subject matter expert in, and you type those keywords in. And if you don't know, you just want to say, assign me a mentor or find a mentor, you'll get assigned one. But you're right, everyone has their own knowledge of expertise.
Okay.
So during these times of COVID, explain how the mentoring will work, because I'm sure before COVID y'all might have met in person.
Good question. Yes.
And things like that. So now with Zoom and things like that, talk about that.
Okay. Well, the Houston office is actually located on Gessner. I need to get the address. I apologize.
I'll put it up.
Yes, it's located right here on Gessner Street, if that's a street, in Houston. And before COVID-19 and the melee that we're in, people would go into the office. They would actually go into the office and they can say, hey, I am thinking about starting my own business, or I have some questions. And then they would assign you a mentor right there. And that mentor would be face to face and would talk to you and get you the checklist. We have a checklist on how to start a business. They would set you up to do a seminar, an actual 2 days seminar. It used to be 5 days. We're trying to cut it down to 2 or 3 days now, where you would go and do a seminar on all the things you need to know to start a business in Houston, like where to register, whatever licenses you need if you want to register to be a minority business. All of that is there. Now, today, with COVID-19, we do Zoom meetings. So the people come to us the same way, but now, like for example, I had a session today. We would reach out to the person first by email or phone call and kind of have an idea what it is they're looking for, and set up a date for an actual face-to-face Zoom session. And once they come on the Zoom session, at this point, I'm listening, trying to find out what it is they want and asking key specific questions to see where they are in the process. And in my case, because I am a trainer, advisor, type of counselor person, I always try to get to their mindset. Are you ready to become an entrepreneur? Just saying you want a business doesn't always do it. So, and that's what we do now, Tex. We just do it face to face with Zoom, and it's been working. It's been working. We can stay pretty busy, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of people finding us.
That's the new normal right now. So
yeah,
it is.
Definitely.
So one of the challenges that Karen and I are finding is, and she and I have had this conversation, is everybody wants to start a business, but are you prepared mentally to begin a business? Not even the financial aspect of it, mentally. Because once you start asking them some key questions, why do you want to start a business? Then you start to hear, well, because I want to start a clothing business because I have on this great outfit and somebody told me I look nice in it. That's not a really good reason, so you really have to start drilling down. Why do you? And once you start asking people that, then you start seeing where their mindset is. So this is where we come in and we're trying now to guide them and mentor them. Hey, so one of the challenges I know is not only starting a business, but you really have to have that mindset of an entrepreneur.
Do you ever get to the point where you say to someone, you know what? This is not for you.
This is not for you.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Your calling.
I'm glad you asked that, Chris.
That's a good question.
Because that's a very good question. We cannot do that to people. Mm-hmm. We cannot say that. Even though
you're not into crushing dreams. Okay, got
yeah, correct.
No, let me tell you how we get to that realization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A young guy came the other day and I had this session with him, and he says, I want to buy a business. I want to buy a business that is distressed. He specifically said, I want to buy a distressed business in Houston. Can we help with that? So I said to him, okay. All right. I said, on our website, we have a link to brokers who broker businesses for sale. People who put up their business for sale and say, I'm selling my pizza shop or whatever. And you could go there, see what they're offering for the business and buy it, right? Work with a broker. But he wasn't sure even what kind of business he wanted to buy. So I was like, no, I'm not going to tell him that you cannot buy a business because you're not even ready. I said to him, okay, so tell me what you like to do. What do you like to do? What are your passions? What would make you get up every morning and go down to that business at 4 a.m. and open the door? So you have to be ready. You want to buy a business from somebody. They're selling it for whatever reason. They're going out of business. They are retiring. There's several reasons people can say why they're selling their business. But why do you say I want to buy the pizza business because I can make pizza? That's awesome. But do you have a real passion for that? Because you're taking on all the troubles of that business, the employees, the supplies, the vendors, the building, the taxes, the utilities. It's not just about picking up something at the store, pair of sneakers, I don't like it, take it back. So so going through the process with him, I realized that he didn't even know what it is he wanted to get. So this is what I did, and this is what I always do. I said, how about we create a SWOT analysis? I'm sure you guys may know its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I said, let's do a personal SWOT analysis on you. You tell me, what are your strengths? What do you like to do? Everything, whatever that is. I like to cook, I can barbecue, I can cut hair, I can sew clothes, I can whatever. Write those things down. Then write down the things that you're weak in. Well, I'm not good at doing math or accounting or engineering or washing cars, whatever that is. And then opportunities and threats. And I said, once you figure out what those are, look at your strengths and then look at the opportunities that are available that matches your strengths. And then this way, you'll be able to figure out which business you want to buy. So then I said, will you be looking for funding to get your business, or do you have the funding? That's when he was like, well, I would now when I make like $15 an hour. I said, okay, let's just concentrate on the SWOT analysis and figure out who you are. When you figure that out, you will be ready to help you. But I didn't squash his dreams.
Right.
So you basically laid out the roadmap.
I just told him
let him figure it out.
And you lay out the roadmap, and they may take the exit at some point.
Right.
Correct. And Tex is right. We lay out the roadmap for them, and there are detours that they'll come. They may exit, and we'll never see them again, or they'll take a detour, and you may see them in a year. Or they may leave from wanting to go from Houston to Miami and end up in Atlanta because they didn't take our advice.
So I have another question now. So let's say, so I know you offer guidance through the process and that sort of thing, but let's say it's somebody's like starting a manufacturing company and they're looking for contacts with, vendors and, suppliers and what have you. Do you have resources to be able to at least to direct people in those areas?
Yes.
Okay.
The SCORE, if you go to the score.org, which is the whole national
That's the
database.
national, yeah.
So there's a national database, and then each city or state may have their own. Like Houston has like 5 or 6 chapters. There's Houston, the one we're in at Gessner. There's some in the Woodlands. They're all over. Or there's in San Diego, California, all these different places. So for example, you go there and you can see resources on, if you're looking for how to, like a lot of people doing this thing now, making masks, right? Because we're in a mass society. So for example, there you go. So somebody would come and say, I want to sell masks, right? And so we say, okay, do you have the mask already? Are you sewing the mask yourself? What is your plan? And so we'll give them guidance. Now, let me tell you one thing that SCORE does not do. SCORE does not tell people what to do. Even if we have the answer, we don't give you the answer. We direct you to where you can find the answer. So, for example, there was a girl, she said she's selling masks, and I think she's getting the masks from China. So she's already getting the mask, but she didn't know how to. She needed some like some stuff like some filters or some other things. We said, yeah, we can give you a list of people, and you can choose out of that list. Even though I might know that there's somebody who she should work with there, I cannot give her a direct, we cannot, it seems like we would be paying favoritism to a particular person because it's a government organization. So we cannot give, like we have to give always 3 referrals, minimum 3. They can choose which one they want. So we have resources like that. We'll say, hey, you need to speak to a lawyer. We'll give you 3 lawyers. You need to speak to a person who sews clothes or manufactures stuff. We'll send you to 3 different vendors. We don't, so even though I say, yes, we have the resources, we're not going to tell them which one to go to.
Okay.
So you don't leave them out to hang out to dry. You actually provide the resources and the tools they need.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
wonderful.
Listen, we
So
give them so much, there's so much information on our website. To be quite honest, they could go on there and they can figure it out themselves. And then all we can do is just kind of, maneuver them, right? All the information is there. And that's what we do. I was told from one of my mentors in SCORE that we're not teachers. We direct you to the information. And then we help you make the right decision, but we don't make the decision for you.
Correct.
Okay.
so once you become a member of the SCORE family and you start your business and your business is up and running, are there additional resources available even after the business is up and running?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's people who started a business 12 years ago and they're still working with SCORE mentors. Every time they add a
Okay.
new product or they add a different building or they hired some staff, they say, you know what, I'm hiring some new staff. I need some guidance. I need an HR person. They come back to SCORE and we help them.
Or you may have started, for example, as a sole proprietor and you said, "Lo, I want to turn it into an LLC." You may not have that knowledge. So you come back to SCORE and say, "Look, I'm ready to expand. I want to be an LLC now." And then there's an attorney that's on staff too as well as a volunteer, and they can guide you through that process.
Okay.
Awesome.
Quick question about the mentors. Are your so I'm guessing you'll be positioned placed with a mentor regarding your particular type of business. So is that limited to the Houston area, or is it now you have
No.
access to the nationwide network?
Well, let me just say like this.
Mhm.
Let's say, for example, and this is a good thing you brought that up because actually SCORE, I'm on the outreach team and I'm looking for mentors. I want people to come in with their subject matter expertise, and then we would have them available to help our clients. So, I know you're an IT guy. We need some IT people. So, so for example, if you want to give back. So, for example, like I said, it's a national database. So let's say we cannot find anybody in Houston to help this person. We will go through the database and maybe the person is in New York or in Pennsylvania and we'll connect them with that person there. And that person will help them as long as, that person is willing to take on the client. And then they can, and I'll tell you the other thing too. There's co-mentors, there's individual mentors. I could mentor by myself. I could mentor with Pat as a co-mentor or 2 or 3 other mentors. And then you could start off with me. And then when you get to a point where you need somebody to help you with, say, all your financial stuff, and I'm not an expert, I'm not a CPA or an accountant, then we'll refer you to that mentor and he or she will pick up from there. So you could go through 10 people if that's what you need to help you get your business to where you need to go.
And here's the other thing, if you are assigned a mentor and you feel that mentor is not really up to your standards, so you say, "Look, this is just not cutting it for me," you can change your mentor. Okay. You can say, "Look, this is not what I want. I need somebody who more background aligns with what I'm wanting to do." And then you can change your mentor. So even if you're assigned, it's not to say you'll stay, because you may have that mentor for just the marketing. And then you say, "You know what? This person is not helping me as much as I really want to." You can switch your mentor.
Okay. I have one last question.
Yeah. We're not pushing that, but we do encourage them to work with mentors.
Hey. Yeah. Dwayne and Jazz, you have any more questions? I have one last question. So the last question I had was, we talked about, from a startup idea to creating the business. So my question is what challenge, what do you think is the biggest challenge with an established business, kind of just barely getting along, making payroll, but to get that to the next level? What would you say from your experience is the biggest challenge? I know it's a big question.
It's a very broad question.
Yeah.
It's very broad. I'll see if I could if I'm understanding you correctly, if I'm hearing what I think you're asking. If somebody has a business and they've gotten to a point where they want to expand or they want to take it to another level,
Yeah, they want to reach another level, right? We're doing okay. Bills are paid. You know, we're making payroll, but you know what? I'm looking to take this to the next level.
Why?
What do you think is the biggest?
Why do you want to take it to the next
What,
level?
when I say take it to the next level, this business needs to be more successful than it is.
Oh, so then you actually have a problem.
Yes. How can you help me to take this business to the next level? It may be through expansion. It may not be. It may just be processes. So I'm just trying to understand, what do you think is the biggest hindrance from an established business going from treading water to being, Michael Phelps?
I think it's a very difficult to talk about something on a broaden that without having some specifics, because I think we would have to look at so many areas. It could be you have a particular area of your business that is being challenging, which is affecting you to have this type of growth that you're looking for. So, for example, if you're not using your resources properly, if you you need to probably change your suppliers. Maybe you're spending too much money on your cost of goods, and then your output is not going to be the same. Maybe we need to start looking at your balance statements. Right. It may just be as simple that it could be tweaks in that area. It could be tweaks in your personnel. It could be you may have some managers who are not utilizing your resources properly. It could be you. Yeah. It could be your mindset.
Inconceivable.
Most times it is you, because it's funny you laugh, but I was talking to one of our leaders yesterday, and he said a lot of people who own small businesses tend to feel that they need to do everything for themselves. I know how to run the books. I know to do the timesheets. I know to order the supplies. I know how. No. You may need to hire somebody. Yeah. You may need to bring in the right people, but then you need to know how to bring these people in. Just because Chris is good with doing IT stuff, can Chris mesh with you? Can Chris understand what you really want? He might be good at what he does, but then the personalities has to match. So there's a lot of things of how to hire well and also how to delegate well. And sometimes a person may maybe have a business that is like you said, it's okay, it's paying the bills, but why aren't you expanding? Why aren't you're in the same spot, right? There's you yourself may need to do some retraining. And a lot of business people feel that, why am I picking up another book? Why do I need to read on this? And I because I come from this education background, I'm always teaching and training. I always encourage people, you need to learn something. You may need to go back to school yourself. Go take a master's class. Go take something in another area and look at that and see if that's something you have a passion for, and then you may do some brainstorming with your staff. Bring another person in. Maybe it's a change management thing. It could be an agile way to think, how I'm thinking differently. It could be a project. It's so many things. But the main thing is you, the owner, have to take yourself outside of your comfort zone and go where you've never gone before, but be willing to see that as a challenge and take that journey.
Okay. And I'll add to that, one of the challenges I know that we see, entrepreneurs need to stop thinking about their business as a side hustle. It's a business. It's not a side hustle. A side hustle, you're not going to reach anywhere. You're not going to gain any momentum. You're not going to gain any traction. So again, your mindset, you had a side hustle. Now you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner.
Okay. This was some excellent information. I thank you for sharing it with our community. So score.org is the website, right?
No, Houston. Score.org.
Okay, Houston.score.org. So as we mentioned, these are some challenging economic times. There are people who have been laid off and have been sending resumes out and not getting any response back. So perhaps you should, look into opportunities for starting a business. And now that we know that there is an organization that can guide you through that process, I think this is some very important information for our community to have. We will, we record live, and then we, chop up the video, and then we share it all over the place. So to get this information out there to as many people as possible. So, ladies, representing the lovely Twin Islands of TNT, thank you for sharing that with us.
And Chris, please check us and find out if we can have one of you guys with your expertise offer your services for free to score.
I knew there was a hidden agenda behind you getting on the show. Yes, okay. Yes, most definitely. But thank you once again for sharing that information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
ladies.
All right.
We appreciate it.
All right.
You guys have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
So, the biggest news in the past couple of days is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
No, I'm sorry.
Made in Jamaica. She wasn't made in Jamaica, but anyway.
Close enough.
Yeah, Kamala Harris, who was just selected as Joe Biden's running mate to join the Democratic ticket. It's history, right? The history don't really matter much until you actually win something. But the first Black female to be put on a presidential ticket, that's a big deal. Her heritage, her mother is from India. Her father is from Jamaica. Not just Jamaica. No, if I can just take a moment of personal privilege here.
Uh-oh.
Here
it goes.
An area called Brownstone. I would show the map and guide you through where Brownstone is. But though all of you have been to Jamaica, who are out there in viewership land, you go to Montego Bay Airport and you go on along the north coast and you get to Discovery Bay, and then you turn and go south, and you keep going south. You get to a place called Brownstone. That's where her father is from. You keep going a few more miles, and you get to Clarksonville, which is where I'm from. So this is my personal moment. I know it's not about me, but anyway, it's historic. She went to Howard, HBCU grad. It's history on that standpoint. She is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha and the Lynx, like my wife is, both organizations. So it's a big moment. And so beyond those, I think we can talk about her qualifications and what have you. But watching the announcement, when the information first came out yesterday, and then watching her speech today with Biden, it gave me that feeling of 2008 when Barack was just going out there.
She's dubbed the female Barack Obama.
Yeah, so that everybody know the information. So, what are your thoughts on this historic day? And then we'll get into some controversy around it. But share your thoughts, please,
lady.
Jazzy.
Well, I
look like Arena. All right, go ahead.
I think it's a wonderful time for not only women, being that she is a female candidate on the Democratic ticket, but it is also yet another wonderful pinnacle moment for African Americans, no matter what people may say about her background, or if she's Black or not Black or whatnot. It's a wonderful time, especially this heightened time of, hatred and racism, to just show, that we're progressing in the world in a positive light, unlike, what we will be talking about later.
Stop hating. Give me some gap.
Regardless of the controversial issues dealing with her as an attorney general and those types of things, I think it's a great time for it's a great moment. And we need a great moment in the United. We need a great moment in the United States.
Yep. Texas.
I mean, I personally love it. I mean, I know I can speak for you on this. We love seeing Black people basically accelerate and do well in life, and not just only Black, but with Caribbean heritage, or more specific, Jamaican heritage.
Saint Anne heritage. Be more specific.
Okay, excuse me. Saint Anne heritage. But you know, we keep on talking about, you know, African American. Forget that. She's Indian, Jamaican, whatever. You know, that's what I'm going to use when I refer to her, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, raising daughters, it's a wonderful thing, because it actually, I know we were talking earlier, it gives you that positive role model. It gives that roadmap. I can say, hey, you have a person in Kamala right here that started here, middle class America, went to Howard University,
HBCU.
you know, HBC, exactly, HBCU, you know, and same heritage as your parents and things like that. And she did ABC, and she was the first, but she definitely will not be the last. And you too can do this. So it's just a wonderful time for me, sharing the history of it, being a part of this history, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
there's just so many great things that you can celebrate.
Yeah,
with her, you know, HBCUs, being a female, being Black, you know, getting to the point to where you're on a Democratic ticket for the vice presidency. So many great things that you can extract from this, you know, her position right now. So it's a great moment.
And yeah, one of the things I love the most is that she just pisses Trump off.
Hey,
everything about her.
So that his kryptonite is a strong female, especially a strong Black female. I mean, he doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
And you know, for somebody who has been a prosecutor, which many people have held against her, but you know, she's a prosecutor. You prosecute. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, to see her like in these hearings against these, you know, future Supreme Court justices and attorneys general, the way that she just, I mean, slices and
handles
them up. I mean, that's that's a woman you do not want to have an argument with.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So she, look, I love her personality and I love her story and what have you, but she is an extremely capable and qualified person. You know, that's what we are, you know, we can talk about history and all that, but she is excellent at what she does. You know what I mean? So this, you know, when Obama got elected, you know, I said, you know, it really had to take somebody like Bush to have really screwed things up for us to actually elect a Black president. Similarly, coming off the time that we're, you know, it's just been sleepless nights for the past 3.5 years, right? Just this madness that we're all living through. And people are so fed up. The majority of people are so fed up with what we're going through. Yeah, it may take that for us to actually put a Black woman to be heartbeat away from the presidency. And you know, and as you think about it, Joe Biden is 77 years old. So there's a good, and he's been in the White House for 8 years already. There's a good chance if he wins, there's a big if, you know, because all kinds of things can still happen. If he actually wins, there's a good chance. So, you know what? I'm done. You know, I've served his one term, and then, you know, who would be on the pathway to being the first Black female president? You know, and as, you know, Dwayne alluded to this, you know, it's something, you know, for us, you know, having, you know, a 5-year-old daughter, you know, sitting around watching the announcement with her yesterday and today, and she's like, oh, Kamala Harris, and I was like, you know, her father is from, you know, close to where your dad is from. So just like how she was the vice president, you can be president one day. You know what I mean? And so she's like, yes, I want to be in the White House. You know what I mean? So just actually being able to point to that example. I think it means more than we can possibly even realize. The fact that we're able to see that during the Obama era, where, you know, young people could look and say, I too can be that.
The president.
That's a big deal, you know. So it's a moment to celebrate. But you know, in all these things, so we talked about all the good, and it is, I believe it's mostly good. But you know, the announcement is barely 24 hours old, and you're seeing a lot of the division already. And I think what people need to realize is that, you know, so like today, African American was trending all day on Twitter. So why was it trending all day on Twitter? Because people are saying she is not African American. She's Indian, Jamaican. She's not African American. Just all this nonsense. What people need to realize is that most of those things that you see are not there by accident. Because people, you know, they're, you know, as you know, the Jackie or Sizzler song, to divide and rule is their only plan. So what they want to do is they want to pick points of division and make people fight against people of this, you know, she's not Jamaican, she's black, no, she's Indian, and make people just fight about it. They don't care what the truth is. They're going to just put out these nonsense memes with misinformation and just make people fight. So we just have to really wise up and realize the times that we're living through and how what they want to do is divide us. What Trump's path to victory does not involve expanding his base. It involves suppressing our votes. It involves us fighting against each other to the point that we're so fed up and pissed off that we don't even go and vote. So wise up. That's what's going on. You know, so just, you know, pay attention to that.
The key thing to focus on is not whether she's black or not. We need to focus on she's not Trump. Let's celebrate the fact that she's not
Start
Trump.
there.
That's enough.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I wish more people were there, right? So you know, she was my first choice. I would have been fine with anybody. I was like, it has to be somebody black. This is a moment that calls for a black woman. I don't, you know, Kamala is my first choice. I'm fine with the others. But you know, but many people are, you know, they're still not realizing the depths of the crap that we're in as a country right now, because it hasn't hit them personally yet. But continue along this path. People don't realize how much this country has, you know, descended in the past 4 years and 3.5 years. You know, so
Candace Owens doesn't think she doesn't.
I don't.
Oh my God!
Now you just messed up the show. We about to log off.
She's another black woman.
She's not an African American anyway. All right. So, any last thoughts on Kamala, or hey, let's?
I believe she will need a lot of Secret Service.
You say what? What you say?
She will need a lot of Secret Service.
Yes. Well, we got to win first, Jazzy.
Listen.
All right. Just okay. Assuming she does, and I'll tell us the story after that.
Assuming she does, especially because, like you mentioned, Biden's age and the possibility of, or the potential that she could be next in line, it's a great, you know, hope for, but it's scary.
Man,
I can just imagine.
One of my most nervous moments in the past, I guess, 15 years. I remember in 2008 when Obama won. Well, so I guess it's 2009 on Inauguration Day. And so after he got sworn in and everything, and the motorcade was driving, and then he and Michelle got out of the limo and were walking on the streets of DC, just out in the open. Of course, the odds has been planned and what have you. Man, I was so nervous. I mean, I was like, oh Lord, they're about to get him. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. If if we get to that, you know, in the past, 24 hours has felt like a celebration, as if we have actually won, but we have not yet. We have to keep that in mind. You know, and for somebody who is literally facing the possibility of federal prison if he does not win re-election, he is going to do every single thing beyond, above and beyond his power to try and stay in that office. So we have to keep that in mind.
didn't he already make that claim or that statement that he's not going anywhere?
He said it all kinds of times.
Oh, come on.
And he's been saying it for a long time. I mean, he's doing shit like slowing down the mail, picking up Postmaster General in there, and then they remove all kinds of positions. So we're in a pandemic, so there's going to be a lot more mail-in votes than normal. So he's doing things like having his people slow down the mail. So they mail out ballots. You may not get your ballot until after election. You know what I mean? So those are the things that we have to be most really concerned about. All right. There is no easy transition to this next topic.
Let's get into this rap.
I want to see how you're going to do it.
Just did it.
Worship and praise. Speaking of worship and praise. All right. So,
women are powerful. Women are powerful.
So, all right. Over the past, I guess week or so, the two biggest. Hey, man, I got kids, man.
Check back on the ones and twos.
All right, so we touched on one big story, which was Kamala. The other big story, which was all over social media. I guess the song dropped last Friday. It doesn't even
5 days ago.
Yeah, it dropped 5 days ago. So, CardiB and Meg the Stallion, what's her name? H-Town. Dropped a song called WAP. So, which is an acronym, and I won't be able to say the word. Sorry, I just won't be able to say it.
Worship and praise.
It's an acronym for wet a
boom boom.
Boom boom.
Boom. Yeah. What? All right. So, all right. With that said, so the song is, as you'd expect, two artists who are, pretty, they speak their mind. We call it raunchy or whatever. That's their lyrics. And the thing everybody was talking about this. Once the video dropped, Friday morning, I get up and I look on my phone and I check my Facebook, and that's everybody. I was like, what the hell is WAP? What are they talking about? And then I looked up and it's like, oh, it's a song. So I went to Spotify and listened to it. I'm like, whoa. So once I heard the lyrics of it, but here's the thing that gets me. So now, me being 40 plus, knocking on the door of 50. I'm not too close, but I'm close there. Most of my friends are, in that same age range. So now they are parents and they're married and whatnot. And the amount of puritanical statements of what is this world coming to? I'm like, hold on a second. We grew up with Two Live Crew, with Too Short. With worse lyrics than that. The only difference I see is that those lyrics were being sung by men. So we're cool with talking about throw that D and hey, we want some P, and we grew up wearing, remember that song by Bust Down, Nasty B.I. That's a filthy song. And I remember being up in a club in Carrington's or someplace, and girls just dancing and grinding. But it's cool because we were, in our 20s, and hey, no big deal. But now that we're parents, we're like, so I'm like, people act like it's going to be the end of the world. Look here, the same way that we listen to that stuff, but we had guidance. We had either parents or mentors to guide us along the right path. So we could listen to it, and it really just go in one ear and out the other. But it surprised me actually to see the reaction from some people. But let's get into this WAP. We'll start with Jazzy. Because ladies first. First.
Well, I got a couple comments.
Say all 5 of them.
Okay.
It's a hole in the house. It's a hole in the house.
I mentioned the fact that there's in so many words, there's a bias when it comes to women rapping,
about their lady parts,
their vulgarities and their sexual liberation and their sexual freedom. And it's always been a bias with that. Even we can go back to with Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown.
Foxy,
when they came out being sexually explicit, it was a whole movement, from, the Queen Latifahs and the MC Lights and all of those who were, conscious rappers. Lady First, you and I too. Why don't be calling me no B?
Before your time. Don't be trying to act like you old.
Hey, I'm 40. I'm in a 40 plus club. Don't get it twisted.
Wow, man, I had no idea you were that old.
Yeah,
you don't look a day over 45. But anyway, go ahead.
So that
she could throw something at your ass, boy.
That is in itself a controversial issue. On the flip side of it,
here comes Pastor Jazzy.
Number one, I don't think it's really the time for that because of the state of the world.
When is the time? Go on.
The condition that we're in. I don't think that is very uplifting for the time that we're in, especially, when we're trying to change the narrative of, who we are as a race of people, Black people. Some people can view that as like a step backwards, even though it's just rap, it's just, entertainment, so on, so to speak. But I mean, if you look at it historically, during the era of slavery, how, women, especially Black women specifically, were, viewed as having an insatiable appetite, which justified them being raped, sexual appetite, which, justified them being raped. And so this dynamic and this narrative, fast forward it to the future, Black women, even Black little girls, are viewed as a highly sexual being. So when you throw these things out here like this, it's like, oh, Black girls are just hypersexualized. Black women are hypersexual. And that's the only thing that, that's our story. And so that's why I can applaud seeing, Kamala, running. That's a wonderful change of the story for Black women. But then listening, and the other thing is, I was listening to Tammy Roman, and she was like, the beat is jamming. I'm not gonna lie, it is jamming. It's a dope beat. It's a dope beat. And she was saying, we don't look to CardiB to give us nothing deep, nothing spiritual, nothing uplifting, nothing intellectual. Who the hell goes to Cardi for that? We go to Cardi for her to be wild, talk about sex, do all of that stuff. So why are people tripping? So it's just so many different things that you can pull from it. Me personally, not my thing.
You be jamming it.
Not my thing. I like the beat, but
would you dance it in the club? If you went to the club, that is.
It's like, we ain't got to cook, we ain't got to clean. I just got to have some good pum pum. Let me tell you something. You need to be a whole, you know, be a whole woman. You can walk around here thinking you can't cook, you don't have to cook clean. But I guarantee you, he's gonna find somebody else who can. Cause that's gonna get old after a while. It's gonna dry up. It's called menopause.
Jazzy. See, that's why we need the female input on the show.
Okay, I'm done.
Brain would not have gone there.
I'm done.
Nope.
Next.
I have nothing to say on the situation. No, I'm kidding. So, I agree with Chris in a couple points, and I agree with Jazzy in a couple points. So, number one, this is nothing, and it's all about a male-dominant society, a male-dominant world. Like you say, we grew up in a situation where we had Too Short, 2 Live Crew, and countless other MCs talking about the same thing. Now, because we have 2 hip hop artists that happen to be women that are basically empowering their sexuality, because that's all it is. They're free to say whatever the hell they want to say. It's a problem. Because if Drake came on a song right now and was talking about some WAP, nobody would even blink an eye. It'll be a great song. Everybody be in the club jamming it, and it's not an issue. It's because they are women. Now, it doesn't matter what generation we're in, what music comes out. The current parents are going to say the same thing.
Yep.
You know, When I was growing up, you know, this wasn't the kind of music that we're listening to. I don't know what the world is coming into, this and this and this. When I listen to Teddy P, he talking about turn off the lights. What are you talking about?
Because the light bill was too high.
and let's get closer.
Teddy got bills.
Turn them off. And Teddy was wrong with it. Teddy was like, turn them off.
Woman.
Same situation. I mean, it doesn't matter how we get. Generations are going to have a different opinion. Now, to talk about what Jazzy was saying. Now, if you have Megan Thee Stallion and CardiB raising your kids,
that's the problem.
There gonna be some hoes in that house. Okay, there gonna be some hoes in that house. Okay, and that's I'm a dad, grown man talk. Hey, so that's where we come in. Like, of course, I don't want my kids listening to that, but you have to realize that when they're not in your company.
Yeah.
And they're amongst their friends, and they have these iPhones, iPads, computers, and things like that. You're not looking, TikTok, all that. Guess what? They're going to listen to it. Okay? They don't have 10 million views and 20 million views because we're watching it. They have all them views because, guess what? Our kids are watching it. So it's our jobs and duties to monitor what they're doing. And when things like that come out, is to open dialogue and have conversation and say, hey, look, I know about this, but I know you ain't listening to it, right? And that's just to let them know, you know what's going on. You know, and keep, that's the main thing with kids nowadays, to keep the conversation open, free flow. Don't shut them out. Make sure y'all can talk about anything. You know, that's going to avoid things in the long run. So that's just my take on it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's history repeating itself. It's been done. Okay.
Yeah. You've both, you know, kind of hit the main points, really. You know, look, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what I found myself arguing to a few people about. I'm like, you know, why am I arguing about this? Look, like this is nothing new. The same way we listen to similar music and turn out the way that we did is because we were grounded with a certain moral compass, right? Our parents, you know, our grandparents or what have you, instilled certain values in us. So yes, we listen to that music. I could go out and buy NWA Dope Man. It didn't make me go out and sell dope, right? I listened to 2 Live Crew and Too Short. Didn't have me doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? So we have to realize, as you both have said, we can't look to these people to raise our kids. You can rant all you want on social media. This music it's not going to change. It's going to come out through music, through movies. This imagery is going to be out there. So your rant is not going to stop it. But what we can do is control our house, control our domain, control our surroundings, and you know, or mentor somebody, volunteer someplace, and help to guide some, you know, young girls, young boys about proper, you know. So instilling that within people is what matters, so that they can choose wisely. Yes, they're going to hear it. You can't control what happens in your house, but as Dwayne said, they're not going to be with you all the time. They're going to hear it. You know, so we just, you know, the world has not changed. It's the same thing. If there was Facebook back in our days, our parents would be on there talking about the same thing. Like, oh, what's this world coming to? Same thing. I mean, they did that with Elvis. Elvis is swinging his hips. You know, this is sexy. You know, I mean, it's going to change. The way it's done, the way it's delivered is going to change going forward. But parenting, guiding, leading, mentoring still has to rule the day. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? So,
that's it.
That's WAP. All right, we come to another. This is a spirited edition of Just Reason. We went all over the place, boy. We talk about small business, we talk about politics, and we talk about WAP, DAP, whatever you got. We talked about it.
What's DAP?
Think about it and pray about it, and it will be revealed to you. Anyway, so final thoughts, lady and gentlemen. Some final parting words of wisdom. Jazzy, thank you for joining us again. Long time Soul Rebel. Yeah, man.
Family ties. Family ties.
Don't let the tiger bite you. But
it's trained.
Give us some words of wisdom to send people out with.
Get out and vote.
Oh, that was short and sweet. Wow.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Hey, that's the bottom line.
So if you're interested in starting a small business, make sure to go check out SCORE. We'll have the contact information on the video, I'm sure, at some point. Like Jazzy said, get out and vote. This is just the beginning. We are in a position, to make history. So let's take the time to do it. I know a lot of people think your vote doesn't count. It does. It does. Look a make enough. Is that what they say? So let's do it.
Ever make a moko, look a make enough. Yes. I will, utter those same thoughts. In every election, the politicians kind of say this is the most important election of our lifetime. This is but literally, this one is the most important election of our lifetime. This literally, this country can withstand a lot. It has withstood a lot, look, 160,000 people dead through mismanagement of this coronavirus situation, and 40 million people unemployed and what have you, just through just mismanagement and just a shitty person, who takes no responsibility for anything. But, if you are eligible to vote, make sure you vote. Look, we understand Kamala and Joe may not be your favorite people, but you have to realize how many things a president is able to do by them being. We talk about Black Lives Matter and whatever. They can nominate judges who sit in those positions for a lifetime, right? So we kind of get short-sighted about that, and we don't like this and that or what have you. But realize the importance of this, and realize that the way that they're going to, trick you into fighting against your brothers and sisters and take your eye off the prize. You know what I mean? So it is the most important election of our lifetimes. If you're eligible to vote, and vote. If you're not, then support how you can as far as just getting information out there, donating your time, money, what have you. So it's really, really important. And we once again thank the ladies from SCORE who joined us. People are hurting economically and financially. See if you can get some guidance around starting a business. Some passion you've always had, but you've never really explored, can I start a successful business with this venture? So houston.score.org, we'll post that information on the Just Reasoning site. So thank you, everybody. As usual, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Just Reasoning, justreasoning.com, facebook.com/mysoulrebel is where this video will be initially, and also the Just Reasoning group on Facebook. So everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Any subject you want us to discuss and cover, if you have something that you'd like to discuss, the way that Ms. Karen Yates ended up on the program tonight, she reached out to me. So if you have a business or a service or something you would like to discuss, share with our community, let us know, and we will put you in the rotation. We're looking to just get good information out to the community to help us prosper. So thank you, everyone. Until next time, one love. Bless up.